Meteor Impact.
Here we go. Good morning, everybody, or afternoon or evening, depending on where in the world you are. Welcome to Meteor Impact 2025. We had a break for a few years, but we are back. First of all, my name is Jan Dvořák, aka Storyteller, as you might know me from the forums, or Storyteller CZ from the other social media as well. I'm from Prague, Czechia, where I'm streaming from. We have a pretty damp morning, so hopefully the weather will keep, so it will keep me in and happy with my tea. I've been working with Meteor since 2015, and I have been organizing these conferences through the years, along with other community activities. I'm also part of the core MeteorJS contributors team. That doesn't mean I don't work for Meteor Software, but I contribute to Meteor Core and have some extra privileges in that regard. But I'm more in quotes, involved with the MeteorJS community packages, where I'm one of the founders and maintainers of that. And on personal side, if you're interested, I am aspiring sci-fi writer. That's where my company, Literary Universe, comes in, and also a Japan enthusiast, as you can probably guess from the picture. So first of all, before we get anything, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to our sponsors, Literary Universe, which hosts this conference on our classrooms. So that's what we have here, big blue button. I'll cover that in a moment. Of course, Meteor Software, who will be hosting a keynote and has helped a lot. Must also not forget Austria and Monte APM, who helped a lot with, and they will be giving you some gifts, but also with propagation and telling people what's happening. And last but not least, especially not least here, would be Roti Express, for which we use for feedback. So that's great. And kind of above all of that, or maybe kind of surrounding all that, is the Meteor community, specifically Meteor community packages and Meteor dispatches, which is the weekly newscast or podcast that I and Alim Ghaffar and also occasionally Jan Kuster hold together about the weekly news in MeteorJS and in the broader JS and developer ecosystem. And we'll have a special episode, or more like a talk show, later today, because normally we stream on Thursday, but this is where we have our conference. So speaking of gifts, first of all, Monte APM is giving a credit to everybody who is attending the conference. So you can follow that link to get, I think it's like $10 gift code. So if you not know, Monte APM is the APM analytics for Meteor. So you connect it to their servers, and then you can see all the errors, all the performance bottlenecks, and everything else that's happening in your application. I think if you are seriously running Meteor in production, this is a must. So now you can get some credits. If you are using Galaxy, it's part of the Pro package. I'll have this code and everything later on in the shared notes. I do have, if you remember, Monte APM is run by Zodern, who sadly could not make it today because he is on like 26-hour flight or something crazy like that. But he sends his regards and hopes that everybody has a good time, and plus a little bit of a gift. Next one is Austria. Dimitri runs this, and he will have a talk later on to tell us all about SEO. So this helps with pre-rendering, analytics, and other things in general. I would say check it out. It's amazing, and especially if you are kind of customer facing business, then this is something that you probably should really consider and have. So here is a promo code that you can use, which is a value of $50. So definitely worth it, but only shortly valid. So check it out, give it a try. I highly recommend it, and we'll have from Dimitri, we have more information about what they do later on. So first, what other things that I'll be covering here, kind of look a little bit back in the history, then I'll tell you how do you actually navigate these crazy things, and then we'll cover what agenda. I'll have some information about Hangouts, and of course, a question that has already been asked multiple times is recordings, and then something about day two and other details. So Impact started in 2020, kind of following the community revival after the Tiny acquisition. It was very closely tied to Meteor community packages, and also very much, I would say, online interest during the lockdowns and after the lockdowns that remained for a while. And we also had the Pathable platform, which was an online conferencing, or not just online, but in general conferencing tool, which really allowed us to put a nice conference. And we had that in 2021 and 2022 together with a hackathon. Sadly, after 2022, Pathable, or I think there was earlier in 2020, there was a merger, and by 2022, Pathable was embraced and extinguished. So we've kind of didn't have any home till now. So that's why it kind of took, one of the reasons why it took so long to get things sorted. Still a long way to go to make this awesome. This year is quite a bit of experimentation. So, let us know what do you think, and we'll see how we can improve for next year. So, and that's kind of what we are doing here. Just bring it together the community, share ideas, share tips, share successes, and learn about all the different technologies that are packages and everything else that's happening in the MeteorJS or adjacent ecosystems. So that's that. The playlist or the recordings from previous years are available on the official Meteor YouTube channel. So feel free to check that out. If you want, let me know in the public chat, and I can post the links to that into the shared notes. So I'll cover that later. So or later is now. So what the heck is this? This is not the Zoom conferences that we had in the past. We are using something called Big Blue Button, which also started on Meteor. Sadly, the latest version decided to move away to another technology. So there's a lot of things. Big Blue Button has been designed as an online classroom, but which gives us a lot of extra things, like we can actually draw on the screen. But first things first, so you've probably already discovered the public chat, so feel free to chat there. Then there might be occasionally some polls that come up. I might try that in a moment. But most importantly, we have the shared notes. If you open that, there is right now just linked to the community survey. In a little bit, I shall add the links to the playlists. And let me actually, maybe I can, we'll do that in just a moment. Otherwise, it will be a bit of a chaos after my talks. And, feel free to add notes. It will, of course, refresh and share it with everybody. So if you hear something interesting and you think that's something to remember, then you can add a note, and then everybody else will be able to see that. It will be also very useful for Alim later on when we are preparing for our dispatches episode. So that's in that regard. Of course, there's options to unmute and also share screen. All those things that will come up. Mostly, you will be able to unmute and put on your camera, but keep that please for the hangout session, or if you gonna ask, you can always raise a hand. Shall demonstrate with me, which will, for me as a speaker, will appear there, and it will, so that I will know that somebody has a question. And you can also, at the bottom, there are emojis that you can, very quickly kind of tell the speaker about your mood and what's happening, what's going on, all that stuff. So let's see, anything else that I might have missed. Let me see. And I'm just going to quickly start a poll. So that you can see how it looks like. Go on, guys, can do this. It's a time of test of preparedness. And okay, come on, a few more people. Let us know that you are alive, not a bot. Very common problem. Okay, and then what I can do, I'll just publish the poll. It will appear here. If it's the way I'm using the presentation right now, it will appear here, but it will also appear in the chat. So let's talk a little bit about the agenda. So after this, we have my introduction to Meteor accounts. Then from Mike, we have a new approach to integration testing. Then we have a deep dive into Meteor's reactivity model from Radek. So that's going to be an interesting talk. Then we have, and this is still, I see the old version, but we have an 8-year-old app upgrading to MeteorJS version 3. I'll spoil a little bit. That's Rothy Express. And then we have our first break, or could say a hangout. So that will be open for everybody to turn on your cameras, turn on your mics, and let's chat and about anything that comes to mind. In the tradition of the past, it will be probably about tea or something like that. But in the afternoon, the first will start. Let me just double check. Yes, we'll start with the community survey summary. So make sure to fill out the survey if you haven't haven't already. Then we'll get into, say, more of the advanced talks. So that will be client bundle optimization for Meteor apps from Jan Kuster, and then the Meteor software team will come in with let's say 3 talks. First method first, Meteor at scale. Sorry, no, that's Paulo. So that Paulo is independent, and then we have Nacho from Meteor team and Italo Joseph with their talks, which I'm looking forward to. That's going to be pretty cool. Then we have the MeteorJS dispatches. So that will be gonna start off, and I think then it will turn more into a hangout, which is appropriate because it will follow up by a hangout. So we can kind of go over the time. After that, SEO for MeteorJS. That one is updated to technical SEO in MeteorJS from Dimitri. and you will learn about Ostrio, SEO, and Meteor, and all that stuff. And that will kind of be easing us into our finale for the day, because then we have the keynote from the Meteor team. And after that, we'll have our closing remarks and farewell, followed by, you could say, an after party. So I'll kind of leave things open for about an hour or so, or until I fall off from exhaustion. So we can, kind of follow up with talk about anything that comes in. Then we'll go into day 2, which I just called Community Day. That one is more of some overflow talks and workshops. So what and where of MeteorJS, that will be kind of preparation for Hacktoberfest. So where the heck is everything in Meteor? Will have more hangouts like lounge, open mic, but there will also be MeteorJS accounts in depth. So that will be a workshop to kind of go really in depth into accounts, all the details in there, and also a bit of mantra. And we actually will have a few more extra talks there. There is going to be second part of Dimitri's talk on SEO, kind of going beyond MeteorJS. And maybe I just got a message this morning from Abigail Watson. We might have some potentially Meteor in the medical field. So stay tuned and check out our website for any updates on the schedule at impact.meteorjs.community. So if anything happens, I will be updating it there. So historically, we used to have hangouts, especially around kind of the concept of tea time and tea. That's why I have my green tea here and some other extracts as well. And again, as I mentioned previously, it will be, turn on your mic, turn on your camera. Let's meet everybody and chat with whatever comes to mind. If you have any questions or if you need to look for ideas, that is the time to do so. Hangouts will not be recorded, so you don't have to, feel any barriers or feel embarrassed to ask obvious questions. It will be, it will be not recorded, so feel free to ask away and get to meet people. That's that's one of the main reasons why conferences exist, to meet people. So utilize this opportunity as much as possible. Mentioned recording a few times, so all talks are recorded or will be recorded. You might notice there is a special user called backup recording, so that if anything happens, we do have a backup. But right now, they are, of course, recorded by the system. That all set. When it comes times for the hangouts, either just before them or after them, I will actually close this session and then immediately reopen it. And that is to allow for the server to process the recordings all the time. If you know how these recordings work, is that sadly what the system does, and this is everywhere, Zoom, including the blue button, they record the entire meeting all the time, and then once it's finished, if it's recorded, they will kind of go to the timestamps where we wanted the recording, and then they will then extract that into video and forget the rest. So that's why we'll have kind of these you could say intermissions on that. So I will, of course, remind everybody how this goes when we come to that. But they will have these intermissions because I don't want at the end of the day to kind of kill the stream and lose all the recordings because it crashes the server. So we'll have just either before or after the Hangouts, we'll have kind of close this and reopen this so that the server can process this. We've tried this and things worked out last time, but we want, and we think we could even handle the entire day, but we just want to be extra sure. And that's why we also have the backup recording, which my poor laptop is doing by the side to make sure that even if something happens to the server, we have a backup. Hopefully, I will not run out of space on my laptop. We'll have to check that once the next talk starts. So I already mentioned that. Day 2, I just want to remind you, that's kind of a bit of an overflow. We mentioned the workshops. The Hangouts will be there a bit longer, so at least 1 hour. And there will also be an open floor or open mic. So if you have like a short presentation or want to introduce your company or anything like that, that will be your space that you can come in, give a quick presentation and about, again, whatever topic you choose to. So I think kind of nice introduction if you want to kind of get into speaking at conferences. Start small and then build yourself up. And that brings us, I believe, almost to the end of it here. As I mentioned before, we have Roti Express for feedback. So you can jump, either using the QR code or going to the address. I think this might actually should be 01, my mistake. But you can kind of check it out and give feedback. And with that, I'll jump into my next talk. Running a bit late, but that's fine because the next talk isn't that long. But first off, for the opening remarks, this is actually the correct address. It's 01 at the end. So, and I will put link into shared notes as well. Let me actually do that right now. Feedback. There we go. That's the link. And so that you can go to it without any problem.